Hello and welcome to our first monthly live conversation for our Regaining My Energy, Gut Health and Confidence Facebook group. I'm Vanessa Vanderhoek, the Healthy Gut Nutritionist, and today we're covering all things microbiome gut poo testing. So stick with me and I will share a lot more in just a moment. But before we get to that, I need to stress that the information that I share in this session does not replace a one-on-one relationship with a qualified health care professional and should not be considered health or medical advice. I don't know your health and family history. This is just me sharing generally around what the testing looks like. So like I said, today's agenda is the gut microbiome and poo testing. But before we get to that, I just want to welcome you to this group. So it's a new group. I just formed it this week. And I want you to know that I hear you and I am here for you. So as you're joining the group, I'm hearing you answer the questions. I'm reading your responses. And what I'm hearing are you're suffering from bloating, constipation, digestive issues. For some people, it's diarrhea, food intolerances, lack of energy, sleep issues, weight gain, sugar cravings, sore joints. For some of us, autoimmune conditions, brain fog, anxiety, depression, fibromyalgia, IBS, IBD, and SIBO. And if you're wondering what those acronyms are, don't worry. If you don't have them, then don't worry about it. But if you do, you know what they are. And most people have shared that they've been dealing with these symptoms for a while. So either a few months or a couple of years, 5, 10, 20 plus years. And quite a few of us have said my whole life. And what I want you to know is that you're in a group of people who want to improve their gut and overall health. So you're in a good spot of like-minded people. And what I'm hearing from you is you want answers, you want advice, you want knowledge, you want support and motivation. So like I said, you're in the right spot. Welcome. So for me, a little bit about me, because you may not know too much about me. I'm a university qualified functional nutritionist with a special interest in gut health, autoimmune conditions, methylation. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. It's just really about how we detox, and peri and menopause. And I'm what's called an accidental functional nutritionist. I became a nutritionist and studied at university once my daughter at the age of 2 was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. And great news, she's in remission. She's been in remission for many years and she's about to turn 7. So it's all incredible around her health, her journey. But not only that, as you probably read in my story, I worked out that I had been suffering with poor health for a long time, 25 plus years, probably my whole life. And now I know that it's due to methylation, which impacts my gut, my epigenetics, and all of these things, which I'm clear on. I've got the operating manual for Vanessa's health, and I know what to do to keep me feeling great, having good energy, and happy and experiencing joy in life, which I know that's where you want to get to as well. I'm the founder of the Healthy Gut Formula, which I'm going to share a little bit more about that at the end of this session. But before I do, I think it's really important that I share with you my approach to functional nutrition. So you've been struggling for a long time. So you've probably seen people in your journey. And I like to know before I see someone, what's their approach? What's their methodology? What's their way of thinking? So to save any guesses on, how Vanessa shows up, this is it. Firstly, I work with you to say, do you want to take a mild, medium, or hot approach? So what we do is we work through the approach you want to take, the investment you want to take, the level of changes that are going to work for you and your family right now. And what we do is we address what are called the non-negotiables in your food and lifestyle choices. So for some people, it's wholesale change. It's reducing and eliminating processed foods. For some people, they have to take out gluten if they've got particular issues that show up in the gut test. For others, it might be eating more fruits and vegetables, doing more exercise, adopting stress management techniques. Whatever it is for you, we work through what is going to be practical so you can start to address what I call these non-negotiables. Secondly, I work with you to work through how we can improve your vitamin and mineral status to go from deficiency to sufficiency. So that's not only in what you consume, your intake, but it's also your absorption. And that's where we start to look at your digestion. Is it functioning? What's going on? And that intersection, obviously, with your hormones and your gut. And thirdly, really important, and this is where I work with you to better understand what's happening in your body systems, both at a root cause level and, what are potentially some of your triggers. And there's 3 areas that I really work through when we look at dismantling dysfunction. The first one is genetics and epigenetics. So based on a full health and family history that I take in our first consultation, I start joining dots and asking questions, and then we have a conversation about potentially are there some genetic polymorphisms which might be playing into your poor health. And I look at it as, you're driving up the highway, and if there's potholes in the road, genetic polymorphisms, which we say, look, we know they're there, we need to avoid them, we need to either fill them up or swerve them. It's great to know. So for myself, I've got challenges around the methylation, hence my interest. So if you heard of MTHFR, if you've got it, you're in the right spot. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, because you're still in the right spot. And I know it's part of Vanessa's operating model for my own health. I know that there's certain things that I've got to be doing every day to support my epigenetic expression. Secondly, it's about environment. So I work with you to say, okay, in the body, how's your environment and what's that intersection? So things like nutrition, hydration, stress, sunlight, hormones, all of those things, and plus many more we look into. And then thirdly, it's about the gut. So it's saying, okay, we know 80% of your immune system rests in the gut. What is going on? What's your digestion like? Are you constipated? Do you have diarrhea? Do you have gas? Are you burping? What's going on in there? And what does your poo look like? I talk a lot about poo. People are always like, I don't want to talk about it. Well, too bad. I do, because it tells me a lot of what's going on in there. And that's where we're focusing today. We're focusing on the gut. So here we go. Poo. I want you to be a type 4. I want your poo to be brown with no big chunks of food in it. It needs to be smooth. I don't want you seeing bits of food. And it needs to be, like it says here, sausage or a steak, smooth and soft. If you're a type 1, 2, 3 or a 5, 6, 7, then we need to talk. If you're not doing a type 4 sausage or snake, smooth or soft poo 1, 2 or 3 times a day, we need to talk. We need to be eliminating toxins every day. And, the gold standard is at least 1 poo, but many people do up to 3 poos a day. It's got to be easy. We don't want you to strain. Basically, I want you to just slide out and then you not have to worry about it. So what is bloating? So many people put on the responses to the questions when they join the group that they're bloated. And really what it's distension of your abdominal area. Some people say they feel stretched. Other people say they get cramps inside. Others say they feel sore just all around. And some people say like it's just a nondescript sore feeling. Some people say they burp, diarrhea, constipation, and have gas. So if you're experiencing some of those, you're not alone, because pretty much everyone in this group has got some element of digestive distress. So my question is, what is happening? So if your gastrointestinal system is stretched, why? So when you work with me, I do a lot of why? Because often what we think is the answer is not actually getting to the root causes. And this is it. This is complex. When we digest food, it's not a simple process. People just think I eat and it goes in my stomach and then I poo and then it's finished. No, it's not. It's a hormonal cascade where your brain is involved, your vagus nerve, which is the biggest nerve that runs down your spine, is involved. Signals to our stomach to release acid, which then signals to our gallbladder to release bile, which then there's an intersection with our pancreas to release digestive enzymes. We've got a host of good bacteria in there. Some people are carrying bad bacteria and yeast and parasites and bugs. And then remember, 80% of the immune system is in the mucosal lining of the gut. Complex stuff. So what I do is work through, understanding firstly what's going on in your body, what are your signs and symptoms, and then creating a bit of a hypothesis and joining some of the dots together. So the gut test, I've run quite a few different ones over the years, and this is the one that I really like because we've got a scientific notation around the bacteria. So I get to know what kind of colony size we've got here. A lot of the other gut tests, it's like red and green. But if you're red, I don't know if you're red, a little bit red, or red like off the charts red. So this is why I prefer it, this test. And also it goes quite deep into autoimmune bacteria triggers as well, which I really like. So look, I rarely see people with pathogens on this first page. When I do, and I think I've only ever had a handful, it's because of traveling overseas, typically, where, a lady she had Giardia, she was whitewater rafting in some Africa or some foreign country like that and ingested water 20 years ago, and they're still carrying Giardia. So I don't expect to see many responses on your gut tests on the front page. Where I do go straight to is the last page, because that gives me a really good understanding of your intestinal health. So I want to know how your digestion is going. How good are you at digesting fats? What's your elastase 1 looking like? Gives us an idea into what's happening with the stomach and the acid and the bile and the digestive enzymes and all of the important things that you need to break down and absorb your food. The GI markers is important. So I want to understand here, and particularly for this person, their fecal B glucuronidase is high. So that means that their phase 2 liver detox process is not humming, it's not circulating, it's not doing well. So what that means, and for this person, my question would be around their energy, their PMS symptoms. I'd have a question mark on whether or not they, have really bad PMS or breasts, changing mood, pain, acne, all of those things. Because if your toxins are recycling, including hormones like estrogen, then we're going to see those kind of responses in the body. And as people go through perimenopause and menopause, if this process isn't working, again, the hormones are recycling and we're seeing, pretty awful symptoms. So we want to get this going and back in track. We also want to get this going because bacteria produce mycotoxins, and so do things like mold and other things we ingest. And we want our body to be able to eliminate them. So again, very important that we get this moving optimally. When I see blood, I also look at calprotectin. So depending on what comes back here, I may refer you to your doctor for further investigations. So depending what kind of numbers we're looking at and what else is going on in the gut. I've only ever done it once, but I've had to refer someone to their GP assessment and just working through whether or not they needed further investigation, like a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. Immune response is really important. So remember when I said 80% of the immune system's in the gut. So we're talking about the secretory IgA. So this person's is good. It's in good range. Most people I see, I reckon I've only ever seen a couple, 2 or 3 that are in range, to be honest. Most are really low, like around 200-300, or really high. And if they're low, what that means is that the body is struggling to mount an immune response. So we want to get that up. To have good health, we've got to get that up. And then on the flip side, if it's really, really high, which is not that common, it's around 10% of people, I'd say, the body is in an active immune response phase. So again, we've got to get that down. Interesting with most people that I see with autoimmune conditions, it's actually low, the fecal secretory IgA. Anti-gliadins, so in wheat, there's 2 proteins. There's gluten and there's gliadin. So if you've got high levels here, then that's generally what is referred to as non-celiac gluten sensitivity or wheat sensitivity. If you've got big numbers over 50 or 70, you and I are going to have a conversation about gluten and taking it out for a trial. I've seen people with really high numbers, over this reference range. And when they take it out, they feel so much better really quickly. And the other thing for this person is there's zonulin. So if you heard a leaky gut, which is basically where the intestinal lining is permeable, it means because there's increased zonulin. So zonulin's a protein that basically gets in between the tight junctures of the gut. So we don't want lots of zonulin. We want it low as possible. So this person has leaky gut. So for me, I'll be working with them to say, okay, well, what's the signs and symptoms? Do they want to go mild, medium, or hot? What are the non-negotiables here? What foods do we need to bring in? Are there any supportive nutritional supplementations that we can bring in? And let's build the resilience in their gut. This is what I call phase 1. Most of the time, I'd say there's only ever been one person where I haven't had to do phase 1 starting here. Most of the time, phase 1 is really quite simple things to get better resilience in the gut. And that could go for 4 weeks. It might go for some people, it's 6 weeks or 2 months, phase 1. Again, I don't have an answer for you right now. It depends on what's happening for you. Then what we do is work through, okay, what else is happening? So this person's carrying H. pylori. They're also carrying virulence factors. I can never say that. So again, it would come back to symptom, what's going on. Do they have upper gastric, like heartburn and things like that? Again, I may refer them to their doctor to do like a hydrogen type breath test. So look, it would depend on what else is going on. Normal bacteria, a lot of people I see have no bacteria of certain species. So, and that breaks my heart. It really does, because it's actually for sometimes quite an easy fix. We want them to be in range. We don't want them to be either non-existent or low, but we also don't want them to be high. So Akkermansia is high because of the leaky gut. It's really gone crazy, because what it's trying to do is create, Akkermansia creates mucus. That's basically what it's doing. So it will come into range for this person. And look, to be honest, I'm pretty happy with this. This is, not the worst that I've ever seen. That's for sure. The phyla microbiota, this is 80%. This represents about 80% of the gut. This ratio is also known as the adipose ratio. So the higher it is, we don't want it over 1. So if it's close to 1, we've got to get it right down. The higher it is in the research, it's showing that people have bigger issues with their weight. So again, these microbes are creating havoc for some people around their weight. So that's a really interesting one that I always am keeping my eye on as well. Then what we do is we step into the opportunistic bacteria. So again, it's working through what are the colonies, what are the size, what are your symptoms? Some of these cause constipation, some of them are known to cause diarrhea. Some of them, if you've got SIBO, you know what I'm talking about. They can cause SIBO. And it's about working through a plan to reduce the colonies. I'd love you to eliminate them, but in the first instance, it's our goal to reduce them. The autoimmune triggers, so these are the ones that in research are, have evidence to say they can trigger an autoimmune condition and sustain it. So, if you've got autoimmune conditions in your family, if you're tinkering on the edge, thyroid is one, which a lot of women are, oh, my thyroid's wonky. You've got sore joints. We've got to be looking at this, right? And like I said, our goal is to get it down. Our goal is to reduce the colonies, get it down. If we can eliminate it, fantastic. Candida has no place in the body. It's a yeast. If you've got sugar cravings, if you've got recurring thrush and fungal infections, but we've got to get on top of it. I've had two clients where their candida was through the roof. And that was our first step. We had to do phase 1 with the intestinal health and getting that resilience improved. But step 2 for them was getting rid of this. And they did a sensational job to really eliminate it. And now we're moving on to the next phase of working through what else has to be tackled. And again, if you've got candida, if you've got pyorrhea, if you've got a history of that in your family, it's about stopping to say, okay, well, what's the intersection with that? Because candida loves copper. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. But just a tip on that one, because if you've got pyorrhea, you'll know it. You know what I'm talking about. Parasites. I do see this often. And again, it can just be because there's poor acid in the gut, and there's not that ability for our body to shift them. Most people, we ingest them through our food. Unfortunately, that's where it comes from, everything that we put in our mouth, and we eliminate them. But for some people, they hang around. So again, it would just come back to saying what else is going on and how does this fit within our protocol? Worms, I hardly ever see. I've never seen worms, actually. So this is how to get started with me. I recommend you book a 20-minute discovery call. So we can do it on the phone, we can do it via Zoom like this. And it's where I can get a better understanding of your symptoms, struggles, and health goals. Have a think about it. Do you want to go mild, medium, or hot? Before we do the call, though, you will be completing the client intake form, and I've got a few other just forms that you've got to sign off on, which is all through my platform, which is called Better. So I'll put a link below on how you book a discovery call, but it's important that you do invest the time to complete that form so I can best show up for our time together and work through what the best option is going to be for you. So there's a couple of ways we can work together. So if you are interested, I run the Healthy Gut Formula program, and it's ideal for people who want to optimize their gut and overall health and get to the bottom of what's going on, quite frankly. And when you say, look, I'm sick of it. This is time for me. It's time to really get on top of it. If you want to improve your knowledge on gut health, and if you want to learn more about that intersection with your hormones, perimenopause, menopause, stress, environmental factors, toxins, etc., then it's a great course because I've got all of these short lessons where I'm going to educate you, which, quite frankly, is what I wanted and what I needed. And that's why I've created it. You'll also join a very supportive community that's going to help you stay motivated so you can regain not only your energy, but also your confidence. So it's 1,497 Australian dollars, or you can pay $397 a month for 4 months. So it's less than $100 a week. Now, the good thing about this program is it is set up as a 4-month program. So if you want to get in and you say, let me, complete the lessons, learn as much as I can, do the test, meet with you. Usually, in my experience, it is about 4 months where people take to regain their health. For some, it's much longer. I won't lie to you. I've got some clients where it's 12 months plus, very complex things going on. And I've got some which are shorter, very short. But most people, it's around 3 consultations and around the 4-month mark. So what you get, the other thing I should say is you get access to the program for 12 months. So from the date you join, you get access for a year. And if I run the program for 5 years and make updates, which I'm planning to do, but who knows what tomorrow will bring. But if I do, you get access for the 5 years. So it's a really great investment to join this community and have access to all of those resources. You get 3 consultations with me. So we'll do the first one up front where I'll take the full family and health history. It's a very detailed session. Then we'll decide what functional testing to order. So if it's a gut test, if it's a hair test, it might be urine test, it might be looking at blood tests that you've already done. Whatever it is, we'll make that plan. And then we'll meet again in about 6 weeks after that. So in the meantime, you get started making changes based on the recipes, the lessons, the guides that I've given you. And then, based on what your gut test says, that's where we develop your bio-individual plan and we go from there. You do get access to me every week. So I have a drop-in Healthy Gut Clinic on a Thursday at 12:30. So if you've got any pressing questions or you just need help with motivation, it's on Zoom. You just pop on Zoom. If no one joins, I'm just do study or other things. But sometimes, lots of people join, sometimes no one joins, and that's absolutely fine. It's there for you if you need that extra support. Also, we have a monthly Healthy Track coaching clinic. And it was last night. I love it. So it's a beautiful group of women where we reflect on our achievements and our wins from the previous month and set our intentions for the next month. You can't hit a target that you can't see. So we get very clear every month on what our intention is. We don't overcomplicate it. We get very clear. And then we've had great traction over the last couple of months where, us as a collective group of ladies have achieved great things in our lives because we've got not only the support of each other, but we're very, very clear on what we want for ourselves and where we need help. In those sessions, I also cover a topic on functional nutrition. So I make it interesting. I make it something that you probably haven't heard of before. Which, people generally really love. And it's recorded. So if you can't attend, you can watch the recording. You get access to the monthly Healthy Gut Cooking Workshop, which is on a Sunday once a month, 2 hours, where we get together and I should give you 3 recipes and we make them together. So it's really going to help your menu planning for the week. But not only that, we get to have a nice laugh and a giggle and a chat and a social connection. Sometimes kids come, which is lovely. And it's really good. It really is super helpful, especially if you struggle with meal planning. And then you get daily support. I've got a forum in the Healthy Gut Formula program. So in that forum, it's like a community chat. I suppose it's like Facebook in a way where you can, share photos and share questions and things like that. I'm in there most days. So if you've got anything pressing, questions, need support, need motivation, you just post in there. The other way to get started would be my 21-day detox program. So this is ideal for people who want help getting back on track. So if you go, look, I feel like I probably need to eat better. I feel like I probably need to get my sleep in order. I feel like I probably need to do more exercise. If you're thinking you don't have the real basics right, then this program is fabulous. So not only are you going to undergo a gentle whole foods detox, I'm going to help you embed those healthier lifestyle and eating habits for 3 weeks. So it's $347. You do get one consultation with me. You get the 4 weekly whole food detox lessons, chef created, family friendly whole food detox recipes. You get a 21-day detox guide, and you do get access to the Healthy Gut Clinic for the 3 weeks as well. So if you want to drop in on a Thursday at 12:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time, I'm there for you. So it's an absolutely transformational program. I've had hundreds of people go through this program, and the results that they have on it is tremendous. And again, you get support for the 21 days in the program. So they're both really, really good programs. The one on the left is more if you've been struggling for a long time, you're eating well, you're doing all the right things, and you are going, what on earth is going on? I've got to get to the bottom of it. I'm sick of it. The one on the left, the 21-day detox, is if you go, yeah, I'm struggling, but I know I could do more, and I know I could eat a bit better. It's a good start. So if you wanted to start with a 21-day and then move into the Healthy Gut formula, I'm flexible. I can support you in that as well. So if you have any questions on either of those, you can either drop them below, or I'll put a link to booking that discovery call. I really encourage you to book it, because I get to learn a little bit more about you. You get to learn a little bit more about me. And especially because we might be working together for a couple of months, we've got to work through if we're going to work well together. So book the call. And like I said, any questions whatsoever, you got my email. You can drop me an email, you can private message me, or you can put them below. I'm completely flexible. So have a great day, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon and inviting you into one of those communities. You'll love it. You won't regret it. I'm here for you, and take care.